loyal subjects. Today I'm here to bring you my November wrap-up. Little late, but that's okay, it's okay. I only read 4 books in the month of November. Don't know what it was. Probably because the first book I read was a chunker. So yeah, but I'm still happy with that. I'm on track for my 80 books of this year, so let's get on with it. So the first book that I read was Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This is obviously the 5th book in the Harry Potter series. Oh wow, this is just massive. This is officially the biggest book I've ever read, clocking in at 870 pages. But yes, obviously I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I still think Goblet of Fire is my favourite, but good volume. Awesome addition to the series. What do you usually say when you're talking about Harry Potter? Everybody knows it's amazing. There's nothing left to be said. Then I read the very exciting Bane Chronicles by Cassandra Clare, Maureen Johnson and Sarah Rees Brennan. If you don't know, this is a companion novel made up of 11 short stories to the Shadowhunter Chronicles following Magnus Bane. I actually have an entire review up of this book talking about my thoughts on each of the short stories, so you can go check that out if you are interested, but overall I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good insight into the life of one of my favourite characters. Plus Godfrey Gow is beautiful. Look at his beautiful face. Next up, and this is a little sneak peek into my next book haul, I read Lips Touch 3 times by Laini Taylor. Now, you all probably mostly know Laini Taylor for her trilogy The Daughter of Smoke and Bone, but I wanted to pick this up because I'm planning on reading My True Love Gave to Me in the month of December, and that has a short story by Laini Taylor. So I always feel weird, like my introduction to authors being through like novellas or short stories. I feel like I should read a book of theirs first before I cast any judgment on them. You get what I'm saying? So I went after this one because it is considerably shorter than The Daughter of Smoke and Bone. This is a collection of 3 short stories, each surrounding a kiss of some sort. They also have the most gorgeous illustrations, which is actually done by Laini Taylor's husband, Jim Di Bartolo. The first short story is called Goblin Fruit, and this was the shortest of them. It's about a girl named Kizzy whose family is very different. They follow all those kind of weird folklores, like they believe in ghosts and vampires and goblins, obviously, and they do things like nail odd things to their doors for good luck and have weird burial ceremonies. And she, one day, meets this boy who is like her dream boy. And it turns out that he is a goblin in disguise trying to steal her soul, or something like that. It was very short and very sweet. I enjoyed it very much so. The next short story is called Spicy Little Curses Such as These. This one is probably my favourite out of the 3. It's about this woman who becomes an ambassador in hell. So she like makes deals with the devil to try and save people's lives whenever he causes a bunch of deaths to occur. And one day, in order to save the souls of all of these children dying from a natural disaster, the devil then puts a curse on this girl who, if she ever speaks, anyone who hears her voice will immediately die. So it's like years later, she's 18, and then she meets this soldier who they fall in love, and he desperately wants to hear her talk, and shenanigans ensue. Oh, it was just really great. It was set in India during the times of the English colonies. I'm not too much of a history nerd, but it was awesome. The setting, just the folklore that's woven into the story was amazing. And then the last story in the book is Hatchling, and this is the longest. It takes up like half of the book, and It's kind of an urban fantasy to do with fairies. And these fairies are able to jump into other people's bodies and control them. There was so much world building and character backstories and things like that for a story that was only just over 100 pages. It's amazing. It felt like a complete novel. But Laini Taylor manages to create an entire world in such a short amount of time, and everything is like really complex. Like there are different words, this language, the, you know, history of all of the kingdoms and tribes and whatnot, and it was like awesome, to tell you the truth. Still, the fairies are bitches in that book, so big shocker there. Overall, I think it's Laini Taylor's, just the way she writes, the way she crafts her sentences and describes things is really the strongest point in this book, I think. The one downside, I would say, to her writing is that since it reads so much like a fairy tale or a fable or something like that, there's kind of a disconnection from the characters. You kind of feel like there's this wall between you and you're just kind of watching what happens instead of being like immersed in the story, if you get what I mean by that. But still, amazing book, really great. I would definitely recommend this, and I will be picking up the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy soon, so you can count on that. And then the last book that I read in the month of November was The Scorch Trials by James Dashner. Finally got around to picking this baby up. This is the second book in the Maze Runner trilogy, and it picks up immediately from where the Maze Runner left off. And if you've read that book, then you'll know that's kind of needed. There's a lot of criticism surrounding this trilogy, saying that it's just not very good and it's a bit overhyped, and I do definitely see where all of those opinions are coming from. Like, James Dashner's writing is just, it's not the best. He's not a very, like, lyrical crafter of sentences, you know? And his characters can feel a bit flat sometimes, especially Thomas. He really annoys me sometimes. Story-wise, it certainly felt like a lot of the events that happened in this book were not explained enough. It's just like there's this big section of the book where a thing happens. Wow, Elizabeth's so descriptive. And it's kind of just explained that it's like, well, I had to. I don't know why, but it just had to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like some of the events would be much more hard-hitting if we knew why they were happening. Also, the love, the romance in these books, it feels very forced. And the addition of the character Brenda to the story, like, I feel like she was only there to cause romantic kind of tension between Thomas and Teresa. And I just feel like it's not needed. You know, it feels very preteen, just not that good. But saying that, this is a really fun series. I did have a lot of fun reading this, even if it was quite frustrating at times. I would say maybe this series is more suited to a younger audience, maybe like 13, 14 kind of age group. I don't know if I like this one better than The Maze Runner. I definitely enjoyed the setting of The Maze Runner, like the maze and all that, better than in this one, but I am excited to pick up the third book and finish the series, even though I've heard that that book is not very good. I want to know what happens. So that is all that I read in the month of November. I will see you next time with whatever I think up next, because I'm a crazy gal, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.